Hey everyone, it's Jackie from Vegan Yack Attack, and I'm back with a brand new video for you. Today we're making smoky pumpkin mac and cheese stuffed sweet potatoes. Basically a carb lover's dream, that's me. And it is delicious. It is one of the most popular recipes on my site, and I wanted to share it with y'all today. Now in the recipe, I tell you to bake these sweet potatoes for 45 minutes in the oven, and you are more than welcome to do that. But today we're gonna make this a little speedier, which, as you know, is my favorite thing to do, kind of. So what I have here is my Instant Pot. You can just use a regular pressure cooker. I have 4 roughly half-pound sweet potatoes, and they are on a little rack in here. Sorry if you can't see that. And I lined the inner pot with about a cup of water. So all we're gonna do is, the standard, poke some holes in the sweet potatoes real quick. And this is honestly like my favorite thing. I first did baked potatoes in the Instant Pot for my newest cookbook, for the meal prep book, and it is a game changer because it basically cuts it in half. Not basically, it actually does. I'm gonna put them in there for 20 minutes, just because these are a little dry. I'm not sure how long they're going to take to cook, honestly. But obviously we want them to be a little tender so that we can split them open and stuff them with mac and cheese. So like I said, put them in here, close it tight, close the pressure, do high pressure at 20 minutes. We're gonna let this roll. Next, I have boiling water ready already, but either way, you're gonna take, thanks Instant Pot, appreciate that. So like I said, I have some boiling water ready already. We're going to take our pasta and just cook it to whatever package instructions you have. So in this case, I have regular glutinous macaroni pasta. If you have gluten-free, sometimes that takes longer. This one takes about 10 minutes to get it to where I like it. So I'm gonna dump that in and give it a little stir just so it doesn't get stuck on the bottom. Cover this, little vented, and then set a timer for 10 minutes. Meanwhile, we can get started on this sauce. I'll go ahead and move some of this. So don't be distracted by some of these ingredients. We have kale and green onion, corn, and tomatoes. Those actually go in after, just to add some color, some flavor, some textural differences. So it's not just this mushy potato mac and cheese thing, which could still be good, I guess, but it's better this way, I promise. All right, so we have our pumpkin. This is why I'm doing this in the fall. We have our pumpkin. We're going to put in that. This is just canned pumpkin puree. You want to make sure you don't get any seasoned pumpkin. What you can also do is cook like butternut squash ahead of time, and then just blend it up so that it's pureed like this. If you don't have any pumpkin on hand, I should say. I couldn't find any pumpkin at the store earlier today, and I was glad I already had this on hand because that would have been a bummer. Now we have, we'll give this a little stir. We have some vegetable broth. Add that in. And then I actually need to drain these. I have some raw cashews. Oh shoot, spilling everywhere. I have some raw cashews that have been soaked in boiling hot water for about 15 minutes. You can do like an overnight soak if you don't want to deal with it. It's up to you. And I should say, if you're nut-free, what you can do instead of using cashews and vegetable broth is use coconut milk. So full-fat coconut milk, I would imagine like 3/4 cup full-fat coconut milk is the sub I would suggest instead of the cashews, which with vegetable broth for this cheese sauce if you're avoiding nuts. Now, we have nutritional yeast, my favorite, vegan inactive yeast, of course, for that nice nutty flavor. Make sure I get all of that. Have some tapioca starch. You can also use cornstarch. It's not gonna be quite the same, but this gets the sauce nice and stretchy. I'm gonna stir the pasta just to make sure it's not sticking together. Oh, this is why you check. Ooh, this is so hot. So definitely want to stir your pasta and make sure that it's not sticking to the bottom or to each other. That would be not a great mac and cheese, would it? Okay, back to the sauce. We have some lemon juice, Dijon mustard, and some liquid smoke. Like I said, it's smoky cheese sauce, or vegan cheese sauce. And this is gonna add some tang as well with that lemon juice and that Dijon mustard. Because basically when we're trying to mimic traditional dairy cheese sauce, what's best about those sauces is that it's fatty, excuse me, it's a little fatty, it's salty, and it has a culture. So basically we're replicating that culture taste with these tangy ingredients. We have that fattiness from the cashews and or the full-fat coconut milk, like I said. And then we'll have, you know, the savory saltiness from the seasonings that I have here. So now we'll throw in a little garlic. Yum, delish always. And then here I have a seasoning blend. We have some onion powder, some ground chipotle powder. Ancho chili powder will also work, it's just not smoky, so it's not as good for this if you want it to be smokier, but it still would be delicious. Then some smoked paprika, one of my favorite spices. And we have a little bit of ground turmeric for color mostly, and then some ground sea salt, that's fine ground. So we'll just dump all of those in there. The pasta's making noises. Oh no, I'm sorry, that's the Instant Pot making noises. Just reaching temperature or pressure right now. So, get this pumpkin down here. We're just going to blend this up, get it really smooth, and then wait for the pasta to be done basically. So let's blend this. Ooh. Okay, let's check on this. This is not quite as smooth as I would like. The last time I made this, it was in a food processor, so you can also use a food processor with a S-blade, the sharp blade that blends everything. I feel like it gets smoother in a blender for sure, especially a high-powered one. So we're just gonna let this sit for like 2 minutes, let those cashew pieces get really soft and all this liquid that's in here. Oh, it smells so good though. And then we're gonna blend it again. So while this was sitting, I gave it a little taste. I think it will need a touch more salt, but I'm gonna wait until after it's cooking with the noodles so that I'm not just adding salt that's gonna cook out a little bit once it's heated up. We'll season it at the very end. So again, like I said in the last video, you know, I'm not just bogging you down with salt just for the sake of it. We don't wanna do that, right? So now I'm gonna blend this for another like 30 seconds. Okay. That ended up, it doesn't look quite that creamy, but it's definitely super creamy. So we can set that aside. And the timer is about to go off for the pasta. So perfect. But we still have about 17 minutes left on that bad boy. So we're going to wait till the pasta's done, drain it, rinse it in cool water. That's the timer. Rinse it in cool water so that it doesn't overcook, and then we'll bring it back to the pot in just a second. All right, let's test the pasta. It's probably too many pastas to test, but that's okay. A little hot. Okay. I think that that's nice. Yeah. Not too soft, but not like too al dente. So I'm gonna strain this really quick. So what I probably should have done is reserve just a little bit of that pasta cooking water in case this sauce ended up being a little too thick, but I think it'll be fine. But that's a note for future you. If you are worried about your sauce being a little thick, ooh, just more pasta toast, okay? Save some of the pasta water because the starchiness from it is really nice. So now I have some corn kernels. These were just frozen, that they're mostly thawed. I'm gonna put those in there first to thaw a little bit more. Then we have some chopped kale, frozen chopped kale, or even spinach will work just fine for this. But I like how hearty this is. Doesn't get too soggy or reduced like way too much. And then here I have some tomatoes. It's just nice. They complement the smokiness a bit. We can stir these in there together. And because this is so hot still, like the pot is, I'm not really doing it over the stove. If you're doing it over the stove, just do it over low heat. But I'm about to return it over there again. So it's nice and combined. And now we can add our sexy pumpkin smoky cheese sauce. Ooh, she thick. All right, let's scrape that in there. This is gonna be extra creamy, and that'll be nice with the sweet potato so that you have enough sauce for like everything. So it may seem like a heavily sauced mac and cheese, but what I'm saying is that you're gonna need that for the sweet potato as well. All right, we got all of it. We can stir that in. I love mac and cheese so much. Nice and creamy. All right, we're going to return this to the stove because I want some of that tapioca starch to activate, and I'm gonna get just a little bit of non-dairy milk for this. Like I said, I probably should have saved some of the pasta water. It is what it is, but non-dairy milk will also be a nice little addition to this. So just over low, I'm gonna cover this. Got my cashew milk. You could also use, whoa, shit. You could also use some vegetable broth too if you don't want to like add more milk. Either way, you got choices. Adding about a 1/4 cup there. Yeah, that's better. And you can always add like a tablespoon or 2 of vegan butter too if you want to add some of that flavor. This is just a really good base to work off of, like so many other recipes. Okay, that looks good. I may have to add more non-dairy milk later, but we'll see. We're just gonna let that heat a little bit over low, like I said. And we still have 10 minutes, well, 11 minutes left on the Instant Pot. So we're gonna let that ride, turn this off, and then as soon as those are done and they're able to be handled, then we can put this together. Okay, the mac and cheese is done. The potatoes timer went off. Let's check on those. First, make sure it's all off. Woo! We're gonna do a quick release of the pressure. Since there's not a ton of water in there, it shouldn't take too long. Ugh. Oh, okay, there we go. Little thing went down. Ooh, hot, hot. Probably gonna handle these with some tongs. So here we have our cooked sweet potatoes, but I want to test to see that they're cooked all the way through first. So we take this particularly veiny one out. Oh, this one kind of creeps me out. I'm gonna be honest with you. Okay. I think we're good. I think that's good. Okay. Let me take these out of here and get our little bowls for plating. Okay, I have some bowls. We're not gonna plate all of them. Let's see, I'll put this really ugly one back. Now, set these up in here. And what I brought out, excuse me, was a, you can just use like smoked salt, cheese sauce, or more paprika, smoked paprika rather. But this is the South African smoke seasoning one from Trader Joe's. I know some of you may know of it. I hope that they still carry it. It's been a while since I've been there. So I'm going to sprinkle this on the sweet potatoes to season them just slightly before we fill them with mac and cheese. Now, here is a little styling trick that I learned in my serving days. So instead of just cutting this straight open, and I'm afraid this is gonna be a little hot, but instead of just cutting this straight open with a knife, what we're gonna do is use a fork. Ooh, oh, these are so hot. Oh God. That one's a little firm in the middle, but I think it'll be okay. And then you, it's so hot. Can I get a do-over? Okay, instead of squeezing it, because it's so hot, we're just gonna twist the fork a little bit. I may need to use here. Oh! For real? Okay. Okay, I'm gonna try and cut this down. This a little firm though, so next time I do, it's a natural release of pressure, oh, this one. There we go. All right. Here we go. Just kind of scrunch it together. And we'll season these with that smoked salt mixture. So this has, in case you can't find this, this has paprika flakes, which I assume are smoked in this case, sea salt, garlic, and basil. Yeah, that's it. But, woo, it's so smoky. So yeah, I would have to imagine that it's smoked paprika in there. This one's pretty coarse too. Okay. Now, for the mac and cheese. And I see I have these green onions here for topping. So let's do this one. This heavy pot of mac and cheese. Look at that. Oh, I'm sure you can hear that in my mind. Reminds me of a song. All right. Enough messing around. Oh yeah, look at that. Like, and because these are not huge potatoes, you're probably just gonna have overflow. It's fine. I mean, who's mad at more mac and cheese? I'm not. Then do a little sprinkle. Green onions. Ooh. I mean, yum, delish. So much vitamin A in this dish, by the way. All that squash and then also the sweet potato. Very good for your eyes. There we go, that one's a little messier. This one. And if you wanna add like more protein to this dish, just add in some like black beans or chickpeas or something, just a pre-cooked bean. It'll be fine and taste delicious still. You'll just have more filling because you'll be adding like a can. So it would be like a cup and a half more stuff basically. Wow, this one. Ooh, these look so good. Okay, and then obviously I have some for a fourth one. I'm gonna add a little bit here. Get messy. Okay, oh, I should have got like a steak knife for this probably. Maybe. Now, get some of this very hot potato. You could probably take some more of this seasoning and do a little sprinkle over the top for even more like very strong smoky flavor. I know it sounds kind of strange to, maybe to some, to have this sweet potato with this very savory filling that is still got a ton of flavors going on anyway, but that smokiness and then like the cheesiness goes so well with the sweet potato, and just keeping the sweet potato as is, not doing anything to it really. So you're keeping that like flavor intact, that kind of subtle sweetness, right? It's just so delicious. I love this. And one last thing I forgot to add earlier is that I know you only use a cup of the pumpkin puree in this and you still have some left in the can. I don't want to leave you hanging like that. What you can do with at least a good amount of that, or even just you could double the recipe, make the pumpkin pie chia seed pudding that's on my site. So I'll link that in the description for you. And then that way you can use up the rest of your pumpkin. So you're not just like, what the hell do I do with like a half cup / like 3/4 cup of pumpkin? Jackie, I got you. Chia seed pudding in the description, okay? And then you can find also the entire recipe for this. Like I said, it's pretty easy, and I spaced out the instructions to make sure it's the most efficient way. So find the whole recipe link also in the description. And if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up, and I'll see you next week.